My wife laughed when I caught her with her lover in our living room. Honey, I want an open marriage. It's trendy now. I smiled and replied, perfect. Then I invited your lover's wife to dinner tonight. My world fell apart in one night. I found my wife with another man in our living room. I did not scream. I did not fight. When she asked for an open marriage, I smiled and said, yes. But I invited her lover's wife to our house, unleashing a whirlwind of revelations that would destroy her game. I am an engineer. I build bridges that withstand storms. She wanted to play. I showed her that my structures never collapse. My name is Javier Morales. I am 38 years old, and I am a civil engineer in Barcelona. I have designed bridges that connect the city, structures that withstand winds and torrential rains. But my marriage to Elena, 36 years old, was not so solid. Everything changed one October night, under a rain that beat against the windows of our apartment in Gracia. I was about to sleep when my phone vibrated. An anonymous message. Your wife is cheating on you. Check her work phone. She is downstairs with him now. My pulse quickened. Elena had said she was working on a presentation for her company, an advertising agency, in the example. She always came home late, always with excuses. But leaving her personal phone on the nightstand, something she never did, put me on alert. I went downstairs in silence, avoiding the creaks of the floor. A faint glow came from the living room. Then I heard it. Elena's laugh, soft, intimate, as I had not heard it in years. Every step towards the living room made my chest tighten. When I arrived, I saw her on the sofa, too close to a man. Their hands intertwined, his arm around her. It was Diego, a colleague of hers. Younger, about 30 years old, with that arrogance of someone who climbs quickly in the corporate world. Before I could react, the front door opened. Our daughter Lucia, 15 years old, came in with her backpack on her shoulder. She was not supposed to be there. She was supposed to be at a friend's house doing a school project. Her eyes widened upon seeing her mother with Diego. Dad, what is going on? Her voice trembled. Elena pulled away from Diego as if he were on fire. He stood up awkwardly, muttering, I am leaving. I stood in his way. Not so fast, I said, my voice firm despite the storm inside me. What are you doing in my house with my wife at this hour? Diego stammered, looking at Elena, but she was paralyzed. Lucia, go up to your room, please, I asked her calmly, although my heart was breaking to see her confusion. She hesitated, but obeyed, casting a hurt look at her mother. I turned back to Diego. Answer, he stammered. We are just colleagues. We work together. I smiled cold. Is that all? Elena intervened, standing up. Javier, you are exaggerating. It is not what it seems. I looked at her, incredulous. Our daughter saw you and you say I am exaggerating. Diego took the opportunity to slip out the door. Do not come back, I warned him without looking at him. When the door closed, I confronted Elena. Explain yourself. She paced nervously, fiddling with her wedding ring. It is not what you think. Diego and I are just close. Close, I repeated, containing my rage. Since when? She looked away. A few months. The word hit me like a hammer. And what were you planning? To continue in secret? To leave me? Elena took a deep breath and looked at me fixedly. I wanted to propose an open marriage. The silence filled the room. An open marriage after months of cheating. Now she wanted my permission to continue. Do you want my blessing to be with Diego? I asked, my voice flat. Not just for me, she replied quickly. You could also see other people. It would be fair. Something in me changed. The fury gave way to a dangerous calm. I am going to see Lucia, I said, going up the stairs. We will talk later. As I went up, a plan began to form. If Elena wanted a game, I would give her one she would never forget. In Lucia's room, I found her hugging her knees, with tears in her eyes. Mom, are you and Dad going to get a divorce? She asked. I sat next to her. I do not know yet, little one. But whatever happens, you come first. She leaned against me, vulnerable. Why did she do it? I sighed. It is not because of you, Lucia. This is between Mom and me. I promised to protect her, and while she tried to sleep, my mind was working. The next day, I dropped Lucia off at school and went to a cafe in El Born. I looked in my contacts for Sofia, Diego's wife. I had met her at an event for Elena's company. A quiet woman, a child psychologist, always out of place next to the extroverted Diego. I dialed her number. Javier, she answered cautiously. I need to talk to you about Elena and Diego. In person. There was a silence. I suspected it, she said at last. Tell me, where are you? We met at the cafe. When she arrived, her expression was serene, but her eyes reflected fatigue. How long have you known? I asked. Months. The signs were clear: messages, late nights, secrecy. I told her everything. The cheating, the proposal for an open marriage, the humiliation in front of Lucia. What do you want to do, Sophia? I asked. She looked at me, determined. Make them pay the consequences. I smiled. Then, we have a plan. Sophia and I met the next day in a quiet park near the Sagrada Familia, away from prying eyes. We planned with the precision of an engineering project. Every step had to be calculated, every move synchronized. Elena thought my silence was resignation, but she was wrong. I was not going to let her betrayal destroy what I had built with so much effort. She thinks you are considering her proposal, Sophia said, checking notes on her phone. Diego is also nervous, asking me if I suspect anything. I smiled. Perfect. Let them think they are in control. Our strategy was simple, but devastating, to expose their lies without violence, only with the truth. I told Sophia about a rumor I had heard from one of Elena's colleagues at the agency. She was not only with Diego, she had also been seeing her boss, Carlos Vargas, an influential publicist in Barcelona. Sophia was not surprised. Diego has always been ambitious. I would not be surprised if Elena used Carlos to get ahead. We decided to use this information as a weapon. Sophia accessed Diego's phone while he was sleeping and found compromising messages, not only with Elena, but with another colleague, Marta. 3 women, Sophia said, her voice full of contempt. Does he think he can manipulate them all? I also checked Elena's work phone, which she had carelessly left in the kitchen. I found emails with Carlos, dates at a hotel on Paseo de Gracia, disguised as work meetings. We need everyone to find out at the same time, I proposed. A confrontation where they cannot escape. Sophia nodded. Let us invite Carlos to your house. Diego too. Let Elena think it is a normal dinner. The idea was risky, but brilliant. If we played our cards right, their lives would collapse in front of everyone. During the following days, I maintained a facade of calm at home. Elena tried to resume the conversation about the open marriage, testing me. Have you thought more about what we talked about? She asked one night while making coffee. Yes, I replied, sharp but serene. I need clear rules. Total transparency. Do you agree? She hesitated, clearly uncomfortable. Of course. But, do you have someone in mind? I smiled to myself. No one yet. I just want to make sure we are both honest. My answer disconcerted her. She did not expect me to play her game. Meanwhile, Sophia was sowing doubts in Diego. She left emails from a divorce lawyer open on their shared computer and mentioned couples therapy to a mutual friend, knowing it would reach his ears. Diego started calling her more nervously, asking about her day. On Friday, everything was ready. Lucia would be at her grandmother's house, safe from what was about to happen. I told Elena that we would have guests for dinner. Who? She asked, frowning. A surprise, I replied, keeping my tone light. People from your work. Her expression wavered, but she did not insist. That night, when the doorbell rang, I went ahead to open it. Sophia was at the door, serene, but with a spark of determination in her eyes. Good evening, Javier, she said, entering with a firm step. Elena, who was serving wine in the kitchen, froze when she saw her. Sophia, what are you doing here? I invited her, I said calmly, closing the door. I thought it would be interesting to chat all together. Before Elena could answer, the doorbell rang again. This time it was Diego, visibly tense, followed by Carlos Vargas, who entered with his usual air of superiority. The room filled with an electric tension. What is going on, Javier? Elena asked, her voice high-pitched. Just a dinner, I replied, guiding everyone to the dining room. I wanted to invite the important people in your life. Diego avoided my gaze while Carlos seemed confused. Sophia, unperturbed, sat next to me. Elena told me about an open marriage. I began, looking at my wife. She said it would add excitement, right? So I invited Sophia to explore the idea. Elena turned pale. Diego coughed uncomfortably while Carlos frowned. Open marriage, Carlos repeated, looking at Elena. You did not tell me anything about that. Sophia intervened, her voice sharp. Oh, Elena is an expert at omitting details. like her dates with you at the hotel, Carlos, or her messages with Diego. She took out her phone and showed a screenshot, a risque chat between Diego and Elena. Then, another screenshot of an email from Elena to Carlos confirming a meeting at the hotel. Elena jumped up. "This is a setup," she shouted. Diego tried to speak, but Sofia cut him off. "Do not bother, Diego. I also found your messages with Marta. Do you think you can play with everyone?" Carlos, furious, turned to Elena. "You used me to get promoted while you were seeing this idiot." Chaos erupted. Elena tried to justify herself, but her words were drowned in the avalanche of accusations. Diego, cornered, muttered excuses and ran out. Carlos followed him, promising consequences at the company. Elena turned to me with tears in her eyes. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you started it," I replied, my voice cold. "You wanted freedom. Now you have it, but with the truth." Sofia gave me a slight nod. The first phase of our plan had worked, but the final blow was still to come, and it was about to arrive. The room fell silent after Diego and Carlos's flight. Elena, still standing, trembled with rage and shame. Her eyes, full of tears, searched for mine, but there was no plea that could undo what she herself had caused. Sofia, sitting next to me, maintained her icy calm, as if she were witnessing the collapse of a poorly constructed building. "Satisfied, Javier?" Elena spat, her voice broken. "Was this what you wanted, to humiliate me?" I stood up slowly, holding her gaze. "No, Elena, I just wanted the truth to come out. You chose this path." She tried to answer, but the doorbell rang again, cutting off her reply. Her face tensed. "Who else?" she asked, almost in a whisper. I opened the door, and there was Marta, another of Diego's colleagues. Sofia had contacted her days before, sharing the proof of her messages with him. Marta entered with a firm step, her expression a mixture of pain and determination. "Elena, you thought you were the only one," she said without preamble. "Diego promised me a future together while he was playing with you and Sofia." Elena staggered, leaning on the table. "No, I did not know," she stammered. Marta let out a bitter laugh. "Of course, because you lied too. What about Carlos? Or was he also just a colleague?" Sofia intervened, showing another screenshot on her phone, an email from Elena to Carlos insinuating professional favors in exchange for their encounters. "This ends here," I said, my tone firm. I took an envelope out of my pocket. "These are the divorce papers. My lawyer prepared them this week." Elena looked at the envelope as if it were a weapon. "Javier, please, we can work this out, for Lucia." Her mention of our daughter made my blood boil. "Do not use Lucia as an excuse," I replied. "She deserves better than your lies." Marta, still furious, added, "And I will talk to human resources tomorrow. What you did with Carlos will not go unpunished." Elena collapsed into a chair, defeated. Sofia stood up. "Diego will also face consequences. I have already spoken with a lawyer. His games are over." As Marta and Sofia were leaving, Elena tried one last plea. "Javier, give me a chance." I shook my head. "You had many. This is the end." I left the house, leaving behind the echo of her sobs. The next day, I took Lucia to school. "Is Mom okay?" she asked, her voice full of concern. "She is facing the consequences," I replied gently. "But you and I will be fine." She nodded, squeezing my hand. That same morning I met with Sofia at the same cafe in Elborn. "Diego moved into a friend's house," she said. "He is desperate, but I will not forgive him." I smiled slightly. "We did the right thing." She nodded. "Now to rebuild." Elena lost her job at the agency a week later. Carlos, embarrassed by the scandal, did not defend her. Marta filed a formal complaint, and the truth about Elena's maneuvers came to light. I, meanwhile, focused on Lucia and my next project, a bridge in L'Hospitalet, as solid as the new life we were beginning to build. The echo of that night still resonated, but I was moving forward. 2 weeks had passed since the confrontation at home, and life with Lucia was beginning to find a new rhythm. Elena had temporarily moved into a small apartment in Sants, rented by her sister. She did not fight the terms of the divorce, perhaps because the shame had drained her of all fight. Her world, built on lies, had collapsed like a poorly designed structure. That morning, as I was dropping Lucia off at school, she asked me, "Dad, is Mom going to be okay?" Her concern broke my heart, but I was honest. "She is facing the consequences, little one. But you are my priority now." Lucia nodded. although her eyes reflected the wound she still carried. "And are you okay?" I smiled, squeezing her shoulder. "Stronger than you think, like the bridge I designed in Badalona." That brought a small smile to her face. At work, I immersed myself in the L'Hospitalet Bridge project. It was a technical challenge, but also a refuge. Every calculation, every plan reminded me that I could build things that last. However, I could not ignore the loose ends. There were rumors at Elena's company. Carlos Vargas, her boss, was under investigation for abuse of power. Marta, Diego's colleague, had presented evidence of undue favoritism, and the scandal was growing. Elena, although already fired, was still the center of the gossip. Sofia called me that afternoon. "Javier, we need to talk. There is something new." We met at a quiet bar near Plaza Cataluna. When she arrived, she was carrying a folder under her arm. "I found this on Diego's laptop before he left," she said, sliding the folder towards me. Inside were printed emails between Diego and an unknown contact, someone outside the company. They were talking about a special project with Elena, something that sounded like manipulation of advertising contracts. "This is not just infidelity," Sofia said. "It could be illegal." My mind worked quickly. As an engineer, I knew that a crack in a structure can hide a major failure. "We have to be careful," I said. "If we hand this over, it has to be to the right people." Sofia nodded. "I have already contacted a friend in the Guardia Urbana. He is willing to review the evidence discreetly." We decided to act, but without rushing. We did not want blind revenge, only justice. That night at home, Lucia surprised me with a direct question. "Dad, are you and Sofia together?" I laughed, something I had not done in weeks. "No, little one. We are allies, nothing more. She is healing too." Lucia seemed relieved. "I like Sofia. She is strong like you." Her words gave me pause. The strength was not in destroying Elena or Diego, but in protecting my daughter and rebuilding our life. A few days later, I received a message from Elena. She wanted to see me. I agreed, but on neutral ground, a cafe in El Raval. When she arrived, she looked exhausted, without the confident glow she used to have. "Javier, I know I ruined everything," she began. "I want to apologize for Lucia, for you." I looked at her, searching for some trace of the woman with whom I had built a life. "An apology does not erase what you did," I replied. "But for Lucia, we will maintain a civilized relationship. Nothing more." She looked down. "I have lost my job, my reputation. Diego does not answer my calls. Carlos blames me for everything." I did not feel pity, just a strange calm. "You chose that path, Elena. Now you face the consequences." I stood up, leaving some coins on the table. "Take care of yourself, for Lucia." As I left, I felt a weight off my shoulders. That same week, Sofia and I handed over the emails to her contact in the Guardia Urbana. We did not know if it would lead to charges, but we had done our part. Diego, according to Sofia, had lost his job after the scandal, and Marta was negotiating a promotion for her courage in exposing the truth. The board had been cleared, but not without cost. At the end of the week, I took Lucia to see the progress of the bridge in L'Hospitalet. As we watched the beams take shape, she said, "Dad, this bridge is going to last a long time, right?" I nodded. "I hope so. Like us." She smiled. And for the first time in months, I felt that the future, although uncertain, had solid foundations. For months have passed since that night when my world fractured. Life, like a bridge under construction, has found a new balance, although the foundations are still settling. Lucia and I have created a routine that gives us stability, breakfasts together before school, movie nights on Fridays, and honest talks that remind me how strong my daughter is at 15. Barcelona, with its constant bustle, is still our home, but now we see it with new eyes, as if we had crossed a bridge to a different life. The divorce with Elena was finalized without complications. She had no strength to fight, not after losing her job and her reputation at the advertising agency. The rumors about her dealings with Carlos Vargas and Diego spread like fire in the corporate world of the example. Carlos, under pressure, resigned from his position after an internal investigation revealed favoritism and questionable contracts. Diego, for his part, moved to Madrid, according to Sofia, looking for a new beginning after the collapse of his career and his marriage. Marta, the colleague who helped expose everything, took on a leadership role in the company, proving that the truth, although painful, can open doors. Sophia and I remain in contact, not as allies in a revenge, but as friends who shared a storm. She called me one morning while I was reviewing plans in my office. Javier, the Guardia Urbana reviewed the emails we handed over, she said, her voice firm but relieved. Is there enough evidence to investigate Diego and Elena for possible manipulation of contracts? It is not personal, but they brought it on themselves. I nodded, although I could not see her. We did the right thing, Sophia. Let justice take its course. She laughed softly. Always so rational, engineer. How is Lucia? I told her that my daughter was adapting, even planning a school trip to Valencia. And how are you? She asked. Building. I replied, one day at a time. Elena, meanwhile, tried to rebuild her relationship with Lucia. The weekly calls were tense at first, but Lucia, with a maturity that amazed me, agreed to talk to her. One afternoon, while we were walking through Park Güell, she told me, Mom sounds different. As if she is sorry. I looked at her, weighing my words. Sometimes people change when they hit rock bottom, but that does not erase what happened. Lucia nodded. I know, but I want to give her a chance for me, not for her. I respected her decision. My daughter was learning to build her own bridges, and I was not going to stand in her way. One day, while I was checking the progress of the bridge in L'Hospitalet, I received an unexpected email from Elena. I did not open it immediately. Instead, I sat on a bench facing the Bessos River, letting the sound of the water calm me. When I read it, her words were direct. Javier, I do not expect you to forgive me, but I want you to know that I am working on myself. I have started therapy and a professional training course. For Lucia, and for myself, I want to be better. Thank you for not destroying what little was left of me. I did not feel anger or satisfaction, just a calm that surprised me. I replied briefly, for Lucia, let us keep the peace. Good luck. I closed the laptop and went on with my day. The L'Hospitalet bridge was almost finished. One afternoon I took Lucia to see it. The steel beams shone under the spring sun and the workers worked with precision, a reminder that order can arise from chaos. Dad, this bridge is incredible, Lucia said, looking at the structure. How long will it last? I smiled. If we build it well, centuries. She looked at me thoughtfully. Like us, right? Even if things break, we can build something new. Her words hit me in the chest. Exactly, little one, like us. That night, while we were having dinner at a small restaurant in Elborn, Lucia asked me, do you think Mom will find her way? I sighed, choosing my words carefully. Life gives second chances, but it is up to her to take them. We are moving on, right? She smiled. Yes, Dad. We are stronger than any storm. The next day, I attended the inauguration of the bridge. The mayor gave a speech, highlighting its resistance and innovative design. As they cut the ribbon, I felt a peace I had not experienced in months. My life with Elena had broken, but I had my daughter by my side and a future to build. I was ready to cross new bridges. Some burn, others are raised. And mine, as always, were made to last.